Have you ever been told that your blood sugar problem is just about what you eat or how much sugar is in your blood? What if I told you that is not where the real story begins? Not even close. Because the truth is, by the time most people are told they have type 2 diabetes, something far more serious has already happened deep inside their body. Something silent, something slow, something almost nobody explains. Inside your pancreas, the very organ responsible for controlling your blood sugar, there is a group of tiny but powerful cells called beta cells. These cells are responsible for producing insulin, the hormone that allows sugar to enter your cells and be used as energy. Now, here's the part that might shock you. By the time most people receive a diagnosis, nearly half of those beta cells are already gone. Not damaged, not tired, gone. Imagine waking up one day and realizing that half of the workers in a factory have disappeared overnight. Production slows down, mistakes increase, everything becomes harder to manage. That is exactly what is happening inside your body. And yet, most people are only told to manage their blood sugar, not rebuild the system that is failing, not protect what remains, not restore what has been lost, just manage it. For years, that has been the standard approach. But what if that approach is incomplete? What if your body is not as broken as you have been led to believe? What if, under the right conditions, your pancreas can begin to recover? That question changed everything for me. Hello, I am Dr. Elena. For nearly 3 decades, I have worked with patients facing serious metabolic conditions. I have seen what happens when blood sugar stays uncontrolled for too long. Strokes, kidney damage, loss of sensation in the feet, even amputations. These are not sudden events. They are the final chapter of a long story that started years earlier. A story that could have been rewritten. Because what many people do not realize is this. Your pancreas is not a fixed, unchangeable organ. It is dynamic, responsive, and in many cases, capable of repair. But only if you give it the right signals. And today, I want to show you something that most people completely overlook. Something simple, something affordable, something you can find in almost any grocery store. Seeds. Yes, seeds. Tiny, inexpensive, often ignored, but loaded with powerful compounds that interact directly with your metabolism, not just to lower blood sugar temporarily, but to support the systems that control it at the source. Now, before you dismiss this as just another health trend, let me explain how this actually works. Because once you understand what is happening inside your body, everything starts to make sense. Think of your pancreas not as a simple switch, but as a highly organized production center. Inside that center are your beta cells, the workers responsible for producing insulin. When everything is functioning properly, these workers operate smoothly. They respond to rising blood sugar. They release insulin, and your body maintains balance. But over time, due to constant stress from poor diet, inflammation, and excess sugar, this system begins to break down. Not all at once, but slowly, like a machine overheating day after day. At first, nothing seems wrong. Then, small problems begin to appear. The workers become exhausted, production becomes inefficient, and eventually, some of those workers simply stop showing up. This is where insulin resistance begins, and this is where beta cell burnout follows. But here is the part most people never hear. Inside your pancreas, there are reserve cells. Think of them as trainees, waiting, inactive, but capable of becoming fully functional beta cells, if the right signal is given. This process has a name. It is called beta cell regeneration. And yes, it is real. It has been observed, studied, and under certain conditions, it can be activated. So the real question becomes, what provides that signal? What tells your body to begin rebuilding? This is where specific compounds found in certain seeds come into play. And one of the most powerful among them comes from a seed that many people have seen, but very few use consistently: fenugreek. Inside fenugreek seeds is a natural compound that interacts directly with the genetic pathways responsible for beta cell formation. It does not just improve how your body uses insulin, it actually helps activate the internal process that supports the creation of new insulin-producing cells. But that is only one part of the story, because at the same time, fenugreek also contains a unique type of fiber that changes how glucose enters your bloodstream. Instead of a rapid spike, You get a slower, more controlled release. And that matters more than most people realize, because every spike in blood sugar forces your pancreas to work harder. And if your pancreas is already struggling, those spikes accelerate the damage. So what you are doing here is not just supporting regeneration. You are also reducing the workload on the system that is trying to recover. You are giving your body a chance to breathe. Now, that alone would be powerful, but it does not stop there. Because fenugreek is just one piece of a much larger puzzle. There are other seeds, each targeting a different part of the problem, each supporting a different pathway, each working together to create an environment where your metabolism can begin to stabilize. And when you combine them correctly, something remarkable begins to happen. Your blood sugar becomes more stable, your cells become more responsive, your pancreas becomes less stressed, and over time, your body begins to shift in a completely different direction, not toward decline, but toward recovery. In the next part, I am going to show you exactly how this works at a deeper level, the specific pathways involved, the additional seeds that enhance this effect, and how each one plays a unique role in supporting your metabolism. Because once you understand the full system, you will never look at your health the same way again. Now, let us go deeper. Because what you are about to understand is the difference between simply trying to control your blood sugar and actually changing the biology that drives it. You see, most people think blood sugar is just about what they eat, but in reality, it is controlled by a network of pathways inside your body. And when these pathways are working against you, no amount of willpower will fix the problem. But when they start working with you, everything begins to shift. There are 4 major biological pathways that determine how your body handles glucose. And the seeds we are talking about today interact directly with each of them. Not indirectly, not vaguely, but in very specific, measurable ways. Let me walk you through them. The first pathway is regeneration. This is where everything begins. Inside your pancreas, there is a critical genetic switch that controls whether new beta cells can be formed. When this switch is inactive, no matter what you do, your body cannot rebuild what has been lost. But when this switch is activated, something changes. Your pancreas receives the signal to begin producing new insulin-producing cells. This switch is influenced by compounds found in fenugreek seeds. And when those compounds are present consistently, they help create the conditions necessary for regeneration to begin. This is not about forcing your body. It is about guiding it, giving it the signal it has been missing. Now, the second pathway is glucose control at the digestive level. This is where most people make a critical mistake. They focus only on what happens after sugar enters the bloodstream, instead of controlling how fast it gets there in the first place. When you eat carbohydrates, they are broken down into glucose, and that glucose moves into your bloodstream. If that movement is fast, your blood sugar spikes. If it is slow, your body can handle it much more efficiently. Certain fibers found in seeds form a gel-like structure in your digestive system. This gel surrounds glucose molecules and slows their absorption. Not stopping it, not blocking it, but controlling the speed. And that small difference changes everything. Because instead of a sharp spike, you get a smooth curve. And that means less stress on your pancreas, less demand for insulin, and less long-term damage. Now let us move to the third pathway. This one happens inside your cells. Because even if insulin is present, your cells still need to respond to it. This is where insulin resistance becomes a problem. It is like having a key, but the lock no longer works properly. Glucose stays outside the cell and builds up in the bloodstream. But there is a mechanism inside your body that can bypass this problem. Think of it as an alternative entry point, a secondary door that allows glucose to enter cells without relying entirely on insulin. This pathway is activated by compounds found in black seed. When this pathway is turned on, your cells become more efficient at absorbing glucose, and that reduces the overall burden on your pancreas. Less pressure, less strain, more balance. Now, the fourth pathway is protection, and this is one of the most overlooked aspects of metabolic health. Because even if you rebuild beta cells, you still need to protect them. Otherwise, you are rebuilding something that continues to be damaged. Inside your body, there is a constant battle between oxidative stress and your ability to defend against it. Beta cells are particularly vulnerable. They do not have strong internal defenses, which means they are easily damaged by inflammation and free radicals. This is where flaxseed becomes incredibly important. It contains compounds that help reduce inflammation at a cellular level, not just generally, but specifically in pathways that affect beta cell survival. So now, you are not just rebuilding. You are protecting what you are rebuilding. You are creating stability. And this is where something interesting happens. Because when these four pathways begin working together, the effect is not just additive, it becomes exponential. Your blood sugar stabilizes, your insulin sensitivity improves, your pancreas experiences less stress, and your body begins to move toward a state it has not experienced in years. Now, there is one more seed that plays a unique role in this process: chia seeds. These tiny seeds have a powerful effect on how your body responds to meals. When soaked in water, they form a thick gel, and when consumed before or with food, they slow digestion even further. This means even smoother glucose control. But there is something else. Chia seeds also help regulate appetite, which may seem unrelated, but it is not, because excess calorie intake, especially over time, leads to fat accumulation around your organs. And that type of fat, known as visceral fat, is one of the strongest drivers of insulin resistance. So, by naturally helping you feel full, chia seeds indirectly support better metabolic health. Now, step back for a moment. Look at what is happening here. You are supporting regeneration. You are controlling glucose absorption. You are improving cellular response. And you are protecting the system from further damage, all at the same time. This is not about one miracle food. It is about a coordinated approach. And when done consistently, it creates a completely different internal environment. But here is where most people fail. Not because the approach does not work, but because they misunderstand how long it takes. Biological change is not instant. Your body does not rebuild complex systems overnight. It happens gradually, quietly, often without obvious signs at first. Many people give up too early. They try something for a week, maybe two, and when they do not feel dramatically different, they stop. But the real changes, the ones that matter, begin after consistent effort, usually several weeks in, sometimes longer. This is where patience becomes your advantage, because while others quit, those who stay consistent begin to see results, real results, not temporary changes, but measurable improvements. And in the final part, I'm going to show you exactly how to apply this, step by step, what to take, how to prepare it, when to consume it, and the small details that make the biggest difference between average results and life-changing ones. Now, let us bring everything together. Because understanding the science is powerful, but applying it correctly is what creates real change. And this is where small details make a massive difference. Not complicated steps, not extreme routines, just precise, consistent actions done the right way. Let me walk you through a simple morning protocol, one that aligns with everything we have discussed, and one that you can begin as early as tomorrow. The first step starts the night before. Take a small portion of fenugreek seeds. Place them in a glass of room temperature water. Let them sit overnight, at least 8 hours. This soaking process is not optional. It softens the outer layer of the seeds, making the active compounds easier for your body to absorb. In the morning, drain the water and consume the seeds. You can eat them directly or blend them into a drink. The taste may be slightly bitter. That is normal. Do not try to remove it, because that bitterness is a sign of the compounds you want. Now, immediately after this, you introduce the second element, flaxseed. But here is where most people go wrong. It must be ground, not whole. Whole flax seeds pass through your system without being fully absorbed, which means you miss most of the benefit. Grinding them breaks the outer shell, allowing your body to access the nutrients inside. You can mix ground flaxseed into warm food or blend it into a smoothie. Just make sure it is fresh. If it smells off, do not use it. Freshness matters here. Next comes black seed. This can be taken in oil form or as crushed seeds. A small amount is enough. Consistency is more important than quantity. Taken daily, it helps activate the internal pathways that improve how your cells use glucose. Then comes chia seeds. Soak them in water until they form a gel. This usually takes about 15 to 20 minutes. You can prepare them ahead of time if needed. Consume this gel with your first meal of the day, or just before it. This step helps control how quickly glucose enters your bloodstream, creating a smoother response after eating. Now, there is an optional addition, but one that can enhance the overall effect. Ceylon cinnamon. A small amount added to your morning routine, whether in a drink or mixed with food, can support how your body responds to insulin. But make sure it is the correct type, because not all cinnamon is the same. After this, consider adding green tea, prepared at a moderate temperature, not boiling. This preserves its beneficial compounds. Drink it within a short window after your seed routine. It complements the process, supporting your metabolism through additional pathways. Now, at this point, you might be thinking, this seems simple, and you are right. It is simple. But do not confuse simple with ineffective, because when done consistently, this routine influences multiple systems in your body at once. Now let me share a few critical details that determine whether this works or fails. The first is timing. Consume your soaked seeds and chia gel before or with your main meal, not after. This allows them to prepare your digestive system before glucose enters your bloodstream. The second is measurement. If you want to track progress, measure your fasting blood sugar at the same time every morning, before eating, before drinking anything. This gives you a clear baseline, and over time, you will begin to notice changes, not immediately, but gradually. The third is consistency. This is where most people fall short. They do it for a few days, then stop. Or they do it occasionally and expect results. But the body responds to repetition, daily signals, not occasional effort. The fourth is your overall eating pattern. These seeds are powerful, but they are not magic. If the rest of your diet is working against you, the effect will be limited. Think of this as support, not a replacement for healthy habits. Now, let us talk about expectations, because this is where many people lose motivation. You may not feel different in the first week, or even the second, and that is normal, because what is happening inside your body is not always immediately visible. The regeneration process, the improvement in insulin sensitivity, the reduction in internal stress, all of these take time. But if you stay consistent, something begins to shift. Around the 4th or 5th week, some people start to notice more stable energy, fewer fluctuations, better control, and over a longer period, the changes become measurable, not just felt, but seen in numbers. Now, there are also common mistakes you need to avoid. The first is using the wrong form of seeds: whole flaxseed instead of ground, unsoaked chia seeds, unprepared fenugreek. These small errors reduce effectiveness significantly. The second mistake is expecting instant results. This is not a quick fix, it is a biological process, and it requires patience. The third mistake is inconsistency, skipping days, changing amounts randomly, not following through. These break the signal your body needs. And the fourth mistake is ignoring the bigger picture, because true improvement comes from a combination of factors, not just one. Now, let me say something important. This is not about perfection, it is about direction. You do not need to do everything perfectly. You just need to move consistently in the right direction, because your body is constantly adapting, responding, adjusting. And when you give it the right inputs over and over again, it begins to change. Now imagine this. Instead of waking up each day trying to fight your condition, you begin to support your body in a way that works with it. Instead of constant spikes and crashes, you experience stability. Instead of decline, you begin to see improvement. Not overnight, but steadily. And that is the difference. Now let us lock in what you have learned. Your blood sugar is not just about numbers. It reflects the condition of your internal systems, your pancreas, your cells, your metabolism. And those systems can respond if you give them the right signals. Simple seeds, used consistently, can support those signals, not by force, but by working with your biology. So if this information resonated with you, do not just listen. Take action. Start small, stay consistent, and allow your body the time it needs to respond. And one more thing. If you know someone who is struggling with blood sugar issues, share this with them, because information like this can change direction, not just temporarily, but long-term. And if you want to continue learning how to support your metabolism naturally, make sure you stay connected, because there is always more to understand and more ways to improve. I will see you in the next one.